Well, thank you very much for your question. Our sister Roberta would like to know what maternal nearness is. Maternal nearness refers to any woman who nearly died, but for an intervention, nearly died of a complication of pregnancy, which could be during the pregnancy, during delivery, or even afterwards. So any woman who nearly died but survived a complication of pregnancy is referred to as maternal near-miss case. This is because when we look at a woman who has died of a complication of pregnancy compared to a woman who nearly died but also developed a similar kind of severe complication, and that is what we mean by maternal near-miss, because those who died and those who survived because of an intervention share similar characteristics, just that those who survived had the right intervention at the right time, and so they survived. We all know that if you look at one maternal death, there are about 15 women who suffered similar severe complication, and those women are what we refer to as maternal near-miss cases, because they tell us about the burden of the complication that led to the severity or severe morbidity. Good. So we'll look at the second question from Roberta. Roberta wants to find out again, for instance, if we want to improve maternal mortality or reduce it in Ghana, if there's only one thing that we can do, what would that be? My answer to this question is that, as we can see, it's a very difficult question, but I think we should look at prevention, primary prevention. Primary prevention in this case is that studies have shown that most pregnancies are unplanned and unintended, unwanted. However, once you get pregnant, you predispose yourself to pregnancy and its complications, and so you could die of pregnancy-related issues. Of course, if you don't get pregnant, you are not predisposed to maternal complications and maternal death. So Roberta, I think first of all we need to prevent women who really don't need to get pregnant. We need to find ways and means to prevent unintended pregnancy so that they don't even get pregnant. And then when we're able to do that, then we can reduce the load of pregnancy in the country and therefore its complications. Having said that, well, of course, if the pregnancy comes as unintended, we still will have to consider monitoring and early diagnosis of complications of pregnancies, and then we can manage them and treat them. I think you'll bear with me that in our part of the world, the main problem is that we don't refer our patients early, and that is why, so most of them come in very late when they are almost gone. And I think we need to look at these things, and then I think when we are able to do that, we will be able to reduce maternal mortality to the barest minimum. Thank you. Now, we will look at the question from our sister Suzanne. Suzanne wants to find out whether in Ghana we always measure blood pressures of women who report at the emergency unit or who report for antenatal care. And the answer is yes. All women who report for antenatal care have their blood pressures measured. And in fact, we check their BPs as well, and we check their blood and their urine for sugar or like glucose. The reason why we check their blood pressure and check the urine for proteins is that we know that hypertension is a silent killer, and sometimes people can have very severe hypertension without any symptom, and they could come with complications like stroke. And because of that, it has become a policy in Ghana that all women who report at the antenatal clinic have their BPs and their blood and their urine protein checked. Doing that, I can tell you that we have really been able to diagnose a lot of women with hypertension with that symptoms, and we have treated them and saved lives. And so that's something that we do often. It is something we do, and it has really helped us. Good. Your second question is interesting. Like, what would be my suggestion to improve the prevention of hypertension in pregnancy, preeclampsia in Ghana? Well, first of all, Suzanne, you can see that if you don't get pregnant, you cannot get preeclampsia or hypertension in pregnancy. So I think in our part of the world, we should look at primary prevention of pregnancy for those who don't need to get pregnant, so we don't have unintended pregnancy. And then when they get pregnant, we should be able to encourage them to report to clinic or antenatal care most often. When we are able to do that, I can tell you that we'll be able to reduce, first of all, unintended pregnancy, and then be able to diagnose hypertension in pregnancy early, and then we can put in measures to reduce it. And so moving forward, we have to make sure that when we diagnose these people with hypertension in pregnancy, we should be able to manage them well. First of all, I can tell you we have a lot of peripheral hospitals or clinics. We need education to let them know that when these women have hypertension in pregnancy, they have to be referred early to the tertiary hospital, because I can tell you, we see a lot of women who are referred late, and because of that, we are not able to manage them well. By the time they come, they are almost gone. And this is the problem. This is the reason why maternal mortality is so high in our country compared to the developed world. As we can see, there's a vast disparity between maternal mortality in the developing world and that of the developed world. So moving forward, we need to put in a lot of measures to take care of some of these things. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you for your questions too. Bye.